Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Big Loud Mouth.
Yeah.
We are back in the building. I know when we started this podcast, we said we were going to do a mixture of things. But I think we found ourselves leaning towards more of the Western world. Majority of that is contributed to the fact that internet is limited in Nigeria.
Yeah, so they don't really be watching 30 minutes episodes.
Data is expensive.
Can you imagine?
If you live in the UK, you don't know what you're enjoying, and you don't know what you are missing that is good. That you are missing it. Not that
I understand that.
When I went to Nigeria, you don't go to Nigeria for 1 week like you always do, VIP.
Who you?
Us is gone on you. Us goes to Nigeria for 1 week. Not even 1 week, 5 days. When I go, I let my ticket expire. I use my ticket to the last day. There is no bringing it forward. Any emergency can wait to my travel date, to my return date. Yeah, whatever emergency can wait to my return date. I am not bringing my ticket forward. Neither am I pushing it past when it's supposed to expire. Ours goes for 5 days. Well, last time I went to Nigeria on business, I spent 3 weeks.
Chairman, businessman.
In 3 weeks, I paid my UK phone bill 4 times. I'm not joking. My UK phone bill, let me not even gas, it's $38.99. I paid it 4 times.
Big man thing, yeah?
Yeah. I have the worst deal as well, yeah? 10 gig. 10 gig, unlimited call. I don't know who I'm calling nowadays. They even gave me unlimited text message.
What?
When there's WhatsApp. But it's okay. And you're asking me to, and then you give me a Huawei phone. No, actually, shout out to Huawei. Huawei is a banging phone. Let me know iPhone H. Let's not laugh about Huawei. Yeah? The things you're missing that is good that you're missing is you don't buying the data.
You don't have a Huawei. That's what you're not missing.
No, running out of data in the UK is fine.
Yeah.
You run out of data. Someone like me, I run out. When I watch football on my phone, I run out of data. You have never had to experience scratching and loading star 1, 2, 3 star.
That's not even the worst part about running out of data. You can buy data here that is meant to be 5 gig.
You're not going to do Nigeria like that.
No, trust me, I have to. Yo, within 2 minutes, you are looking at your data is gone.
Guy, it's only in Nigeria. They tell me to log off the internet when I'm about to go to bed. You know how here, no, hold on. I'm not, wait, okay, let me, funny story, yeah?
You're a bad man.
No, funny story, yeah? I'm not even lying. Last time I went to Nigeria, I bought like 3,000 naira worth of data in the space of like 4 hours. Now, in the morning, I loaded it, You know how you have this bad habit of like, I'm in a house, it's in the morning, I just woke up, TV's forever running, everything's there, but you just want to be on your phone. Man, put out the phone, Samsung. I just shout 4G, Instagram. I'm there liking. I just see your data is not limited. I say, but boys, I just loaded it like,
More boys, yeah.
Boys will start throwing ideas like, are you on this one? Are you on this one?
Yeah.
He said, check your phone. Are you on internet? I said, no, I don't really browse on my phone because I know the deal. He said, are you on social media like Instagram? I said, yes. You have it open, Abby. I said, yeah, but I haven't used the phone. But he said, as long as it's open. The guy said, as long as it's open. So, the first day, okay, cool. It's still gingering now. You're in Nigeria. You're having fun. After 2 weeks, I'm still buying data. I said, okay, no problem. This time, I did some silly mistake. You can actually buy land, like kind of a land connection for a whole month, and it would last you proper. But because we're only there for a short time, you just load. So I think like a week and a half into my journey, like my time there, this last one just pissed me off. I bought data. Yeah, I loaded it tonight. I woke up in the morning and said I didn't have this thing again.
Overnight.
And this is after I've been closing Instagram and closing everything before I go to bed. I woke up, I tried to browse. I tried to WhatsApp Catherine. Nothing. I said, Shola, come. Did you not buy me the right data? I said, I have 1,000. I said, yeah. You loaded the 1,000. I said, yes. Then the guy said, let me see your phone. What's wrong? The guy look, your internet is,
Your data.
Your Google is, you didn't close your, he said you didn't close your Google. I said I didn't close my what? He said you didn't close your Google. He said, plus when you're going to bed, switch off your mobile data. I said that's it. I said that's it. Why am I switching off my mobile data? You understand? It's in Nigeria. You know what? Yeah, this sounds so bush. But it wasn't until I got to Nigeria that I know you can make call without your mobile data being on. I'm not going to lie to you. I learnt that in Nigeria. Because me, I always felt like, you know what? If you switch off your mobile data, it might as well be in, on airplane mode. It was in Nigeria they told me, guy, if someone asks you...
And you can even both say you get degree.
See, guy, you know how people use Instagram in Nigeria? They log in, do like this, log off. And I'm not talking for people in Lekki. This is not generalization of the whole Nigeria. It's true. No, before they come for us and say Nigeria is not.
Who's us?
Nigeria is not like that. There's people who are well to do in Nigeria. Some boys, they need the data. They need the data to go on Yahoo. And I mean to check their email.
No.
This is
but it's true, all they do, it's true. All they do, you have to preload everything.
Yeah, they preload everything.
The data, boom.
They shut off the mobile data and then they're on Instagram. But it's not live. The Instagram is not live. But, honestly, growing up in Nigeria, it has actually changed from what it used to be. Yeah. It's not the same anymore. Yeah, it's really like, them people are, when I say street smart, if there's anything Nigeria taught me when I was my 16 years there is to know book. For those people who understand what I'm saying, to be smart is not the end of the world. If you are smart but you're not street smart, you might as well be the dumbest in your class. You probably don't... You came here when you were very young.
So I use street pass, man.
No, in Nigeria...
No.
In Nigeria, to carry expo is a skill.
Wait,
I don't want to translate... No, I don't want to translate the meaning of expo.
No, wait till I call carry.
You don't carry expo before?
Wait till I carry.
I don't know. So, for those people who are not Nigerians and they listen to the podcast, expo means to cheat in exam. It's a skill. Testify.
I can't come here and expose myself.
Why? No, I'm not even talking about us. Okay. But I'm telling you, to cheat in Nigeria is a skill.
Of course now.
When people, see, this is one thing I hate, is when people wash 419 like it's small boy business. To cheat in Nigeria is a skill. You are dealing with a country where everybody is corrupt and everybody is smarter than everybody. You meet a Nigerian guy now, what you are talking about, he knows it more, he feels he knows it more than you. That's the kind of people you're dealing with. So imagine you're in an exam hall where the invigilator, what do they call them here?
Correct.
Invigilator knows all the trick you can use to cheat in the exam. They know every single one.
They're even helping their cousin.
God bless you.
To cheat.
But as good now, someone will now cheat without the know-how of the invigilator helping them successfully in an exam. And you want to tell me that's not a skill?
It's a skill now. Now a big skill, big money skill.
And then you want to say Yahoo, no.
Man, we'll go talk about Yahoo another day.
No, but honestly, growing up in Nigeria, I would say one thing I always see online in terms of other podcasts, and it's not to shade them, is this whole my Nigerian mom, my Nigerian dad, my Nigerian mom, my Nigerian dad, my Nigerian mom. Me, I understand you need to get views. But if real Nigerians tell you their story.
No, but the Nigerian dad, I think, is the most authentic one.
What, the Funke? Yeah. No, that was super authentic.
That was on point, like authentic to the core. There was nothing in that video that you can say and go, do you know what, that's fabricated.
Yeah, because the guy did a good job.
Yeah.
After that, every other video was
a bit much.
But me, I don't understand this one. People bringing their parents to the podcast. I think with Nigerian parents, all you have to tell them is, mommy, there's money involved. And they'll come and they sit down on your podcast.
No.
Us, you already said your dad will sell you.
But not to come and sit and talk.
He'd rather sell you without saying a word.
Not to come and sit here and be talking.
This is the title of the podcast. Us Nigerian dad will sell him without saying a word. We might as well gather the view now.
No, not to sit here and come and talk.
But, people who come on podcast and talk about the Nigerian parents, I can understand, but, growing up in Nigeria is absolutely different from what people actually think it is. As also like to say that I'm Omo Butter. I am not butter.
Aje.
I am not a butter either.
But you are.
I'm a normal kid.
Normal where?
Normal kid.
You went to private school, so you're definitely not normal. You're definitely already above the average. So of people.
I am just like every normal kid.
What normal kid?
Right?
Where? Yeah, in Jan. In Jan.
No, Nigeria. I was a
Where?
normal kid.
Which normal kid?
Normal kid
You go
in
school.
Nigeria.
So therefore you don't qualify.
Did you not go to school in Nigeria?
didn't.
Did you not go to school in Nigeria?
We manage. But that wasn't normal. That wasn't normality. So I don't know why you're trying to say you was normal.
No, honestly, it is normal to go to a private school in Nigeria.
I don't go private school.
Okay, maybe there was none in your village.
What are you talking about? So why are you trying it? Yeah, you try and downplay the level of wealth that your parents invested in you.
No.
So I don't understand that. You be proud of it. It's calm.
Growing up in I'm not trying to say I want to belong to a broke class.
But you went to a private school.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not the norm in Nigeria.
It wasn't.
That's not the norm in Nigeria. That's not even the norm in your town.
My town. I'm from Lagos. What do you mean town? I'm not town.
You are from Lagos.
I'm from a city, mate.
Town. You are from where?
Town.
Where in Lagos are you?
Do you know what town is?
Where in Lagos are you?
Town is the capital of a village. What do you mean town? I'm not from a town, Negro. I ain't from no town. I'm from a city, sir. I would have you know that. Town. Please put some respect on where I'm from. Alagbole to the world, bro.
Alagbole town. Yeah, from Alagbole, a town in Lagos.
It's not a town.
Okay. What is it? A parish.
Anyway.
A parish.
You've actually thrown me off, man.
Yeah, because you're about to tell fibs.
Growing up in Nigeria is different to growing up in the UK.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you, because I have a little brother who, at the age of 5, came to this country. I think he was 5 years old. By the age of 11, 12, my guy was having a dialogue with my parents.
Yeah.
You know.
No, what you're about to say is that your parents changed or evolved to the environment that they were in. Right? To try and raise a child that doesn't understand the environment that they just came from.
But the child can understand belt.
Yeah, of course, it can. But in the process of... you also in the process of experience as well, right? Your parents already had 3 kids, right?
The forerunners, the 4 bitters
that have experienced that already. They already used up the energy to even do that at some point. So it's a different ballgame. It's different. If your brother had grew up in Nigeria, I still feel like the dialogue would have been a lot more easier.
Yeah, because it's the last one.
Exactly, than it was with you guys. Right? Because it would just experience plays a role, energy plays a role. Parents want to do things, but every Nigerian person, whether they want to be in it, wants to have a relationship. Either you have a relationship at the early stage, or what happens is that you form a regret and you try to fix things up at the later stage.
But in terms of talking about even growing up in Nigeria, there's an interview that came out not too long ago, Wale, on the 3 Generations, whatever, Jada Pinkett Smith,
and the grandmother
and Willow and Willow's grandmother. And Wale was saying something about how African parents, and I noticed this especially with most Nigerian parents, like how they don't use the word "I love you" so frequently in the house.
What is love?
It's an affection. An affection that when I provide food and shelter for you,
then you don't understand love.
You don't understand.
Exactly.
No,
go, get out of here, man.
He was saying something about like how 3 generations will never sit at the table, and have a discussion, like an open discussion about everything.
First of all, I saw that interview and I don't agree with that. I think that's a lie. I think the women did, the men didn't.
The men didn't.
The men didn't because we didn't have 3 generations.
Plus, the men were too busy.
Majority of the time, did you know your granddad?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
but not as well as I'd love to.
Exactly. Right. I never met. I wasn't born to meet any of my granddad. All I met was my grandmothers. Men die quicker than men, especially in that day and age. Especially now. This is now. So the likelihood of you sitting down with 3-generation male is very rare, except you have your kids early. Right. If you look at the age differences between Jada and her mom, they're very much similar. It's only about 25 years. 30 years, sorry. It's only 30 years different. Okay? That's not of a big gap. My grandmother, when I met my grandmother, she was already in her 90s. She was 90. She was already 90 years. She was already in her 90s. My mom's mom was in her late 80s. So it's different. It's different because of the age gap. All right. For me,
is it because the grandfathers always go for the younger women?
You started again.
I'm just saying, isn't it?
You have come to four hands.
I'm just saying.
You have come to four hands.
I'm just, oh my God.
That plays a role. That plays a role. And also, you have to understand our generation is that our parents are our first generation of having just one wife. So polygamy has always reigned a lot more. So yes, that answers the question as is it just because they go for younger women? It might be the case. Like my grandmother wasn't the first wife of my granddad.
So you're saying there's a tendency for that to change now?
Of course, absolutely. That's something that we're going to see shift. The only thing that we potentially may not see shift is the concept of I love you.
I love you.
Now, because if you understand love, you know that your father loves you.
You know how Albert Einstein said time is relevant?
Love is relative.
Relative, sorry.
Yeah.
Time is relative, love is relative, poverty is relative. Poverty maybe not so
Poverty
much.
is relative.
Poverty is relative. Everything in this life is relative. Now, while they're saying, and the guy that shoots that catfish was like, oh, that could be a factor. The fact that your parents don't say I love you in the house. Listen, the biggest I love you, I could ever say, and I could say my parents said to me, like I was telling Catherine the other day, I said, in my family, it's just lately that my mom would be like, oh, I love you. Ha! You understand? That's my mom. My dad.
That even makes me cringe.
Listen,
I'll curl up.
If my dad calls you, you know he loves you. Listen, my dad knows how to show love by buying you something nice. You understand what I'm saying?
Switch now.
No, you understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't want people to go off that Wale individual. Because a lot of people were like, oh, this is so spot on. Listen, only westernized Nigerians will say this is spot on. Because you guys have Billy and Jerry, where you keep going on play dates or play nights in their house, and Jerry's dad is kissing them on the cheek, and you're like, ooh.
Or Jerry's dad is picking him up from school.
Yeah, picking him up from school while you're sitting on the road and waiting for school bus. Listen.
Yo, this is crazy. Yeah,
it's true.
But you know what? When I first came to this country, when I was going to school, my father took me. He goes, you better remember the road you are going there. No. I'm not going to lie. This is normal, right? So my dad takes me to school. He goes, did you remember? I'm only going to do this once. Then you remember. So we did that. Coming back was tricky. So he came to pick me up. Cool. The next day, and I said, I'm going to test you. Go to school. So I went. I started to remember. I'll go to school. And that was the only time my dad ever took me to school. Apart from that, when my sister girl, I said, make sure you take your sister to school. My secondary school, God, this is my weakness. I'm not going to lie. When I went for my secondary school open day, I told my dad I didn't want to go to this secondary school. He goes, you better go to this secondary school. This is the one closest here. I said, Dad, this sucks. I said, I want to go somewhere that's good. He said, go my friend, go and go to this school. Open day, your parents supposed to come with you to go. But I said, you know, Rod? I said, yes. I said, go. I went to open day with myself. By myself. By myself. I took my sister to her open day.
I must say you turned out well.
Of course. do I believe that my dad wasn't effective? Absolutely. No, people receive and show love in different ways. Yeah. Differently. Yeah. Right? Was I expecting my dad to carry my hand? No, I didn't even know my dad until I was 10 years old.
And you haven't turned out to be ISIS. You're not depressed. You're not what's that thing? Bipolar. Are you I know you're not bipolar. I know you're not bipolar. You have none of these negative things that they say comes with like the lack of affection being shown to a kid. Our parents just show love in a different way. Listen,
they show love by either providing, which is like the norm, right? As a Nigerian, it's number one responsibility.
A man who cannot provide. Let me say it this way: you can tell your kid in the Western world, "I love you, I love you, I love you."
But if they are starving,
if you are starving, you're a useless father. Your love means jack nothing.
So
the basics. And what Nigerian parents provide to you to show you how much. If they don't love you, they will give you up for free. They'll put you next to the bin in Lagos, Ikeja.
They'll give you
is
tap water.
simple. They'll give
from Nigeria.
Listen, I'm telling you, no. You hear stories of like kids being abandoned by their parents because I wouldn't even put that down to not enough love. It's just the basics that
They just
shows
couldn't do it.
that I
they
love you. They
can't
can't provide it. So when you hear interviews, a lot of people like were going on Twitter saying, "Oh, this is so true." I can't remember my dad telling my mom, "Love you." But guess what? I'll tell you how much my mom and my dad love each other when they start to tell stories about themselves.
Yeah.
Stories of even when you're in the house, you don't even know what's going on. But there's so much going on between them that they find time to actually have a laugh after all the tough times they've been through. And when like maybe it's one of their birthdays or maybe their wedding anniversary, and they tell you the stories of the past 5 years of what's happened. At that spot, they might go, "I love you" at that moment. But guess what? They don't have to say now, "Love you," and you're going out to go and cheat. It's true now. Let's talk facts. Let us talk facts. Billy's dad loves him, but he's banging Anna at the secondary. Is he a lie? Why now? Let's talk. This is big loud man. Let's talk it now. A Nigerian man would rather not tell his wife, "I love you," because he knows Tinuka is receiving it. Am I lying?
I don't know.
He said, "If my heart would deceive, let my mouth not." You get what I'm saying? At least if you know in your heart, yeah, you don't love this woman, or you love her, but you don't love her enough to prophesy. But you know you love her, because the same mouth you want to use to prophesy, "I love you," you know Tinuka is, and Tinuka is the mistress.
You know. Yo, speaking of mistress, yeah. I watched this video, yeah. I watched this video of this pastor, yeah. He goes. If he said a man cannot marry his mistress, even though she missed distress. But a man that marries a woman, a wife, knows that she will bring distress. That's why he goes to the mistress. Yo, I just finished.
You see, you get the bastard with the Panama.
Yeah, I just finished.
See, the thing is, I always say is, especially when it comes to this whole affection and this thing, the best things my parents did for me.
Pay for your private school fees.
No. Especially my dad, because
send you to school.
It looks like every African kid has a problem with their dad, right? In terms of like when I mean like picking bones, like, "Oh, my dad never showed enough love. My mom is all about mom." Listen, the best thing my dad ever did was me telling my mom my problems, knowing surely and truly well that he would realize, and him solving that problem. It's not like I couldn't go to my dad. Now, let me break this down for every Nigerian kid who was born and grew up in Nigeria, but then they gave you visa and you came here and then you lost your priorities. You now, because your daddy don't say "I love you" because you've been watching on EastEnders, you think everything is wrong with your family. Your fathers know exactly what your problem is. See, the reason why a mother exists, one of the many thousand reasons why a mother exists, is sometimes they are just that easier to talk to. They are that connection. Believe me, you, or believe you, me. There's nothing you tell your mom in private that your dad doesn't know. Confirm. And it's your dad's job to act like he doesn't know you're having a problem, but he's solving your problem. We need to start appreciating that a lot more as African kids. We need to appreciate that a lot more. African dads are not the most laughy, jokey people. Because guess what? They're not handed wealth. Majority of them are not handed wealth. Majority of them are not handed riches. They have to go out there and grind because all they saw was their dad grind. Now they do better than their grandfather, than their own fathers as a father to you by making sure like, yo, I went through stuff. You're not going to go through that. And this is what I'm going to do. So if I don't have time in the morning to kiss your forehead, man, suck it up. Because I'm out there, someone's talking nonsense to your dad in the office, your whole big dad that you can't look in the eye at home. Someone is out there saying, do that. Is your head correct? No, you feel what I'm saying. And you want to now say that, "Oh, my dad don't say I love you." Listen, I'd rather my dad keep that "I love you" and me knowing he's doing everything, the basics, yeah? And guess what? There's another thing that pisses me off when they go, oh, African parents think doing the basics is something you should lord over your kids. Listen, you need to understand how your parents grew up. The fact that they gave you visa or your parents' visa to come and give birth to you here, you need to understand how they grew up. Listen, if your parents say, are you paying bills in this house? You need to understand that some of them grew up with no light. Let me tell you one thing. I bought a house now, yeah? It's been 2 months, yeah? Hold on, 2 months. Now,
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute. Can you repeat it for our audience again? Our audience didn't hear that. No, wait.
We need to move on.
No, we cannot move on. We cannot move on. This is very something we need to say. We talk about celebrating our black people. Okay, let's celebrate where. I need you to say that again.
Me and the missus.
No.
No, me and the missus.
Oh, no, just say what you just said.
Bought a house.
How many rooms?
Bank account here.
How many rooms? Tell them.
Bought a house.
How many rooms?
Guy.
Tell them so that they know that if they do 20% of it,
3 bedrooms. So,
do you know how much a 3-bedroom house costs?
Hold on.
Now you have to provide 20% of it. And this guy will not tell me say Bitcoin. Bitcoin where?
Hold on now. So, hold on. Until I started paying bills. When I was living with my parents here, if the handle of the bathroom door goes, I'm like, Mom, fix this now. It's, hold on. No. In terms of like, oh, we need to redo this bathroom. Mom, when are you guys going to redo this bathroom? My guy. Now I'm appreciating every time they called Andy to come and fix the bathroom. You know what? Because them things cost money.
Of course.
And we don't live in a country where it's like Nigeria where you can call your neighbor like, hey, come, I'll give you 500 naira, go and fix that thing. We don't live in a country like that. Out of their net pay, they have to cut another check for a handyman who charges above minimum wage. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are the things your parents... So if your parents go, I pay the bills in... Listen, putting shelter over your head, providing light and food, and clothes on your back are basic amenities. Yes, but sometimes they are allowed to actually lord that over you because you don't know what... They've been through so much.
It's never just that, yeah. I think anyone that says that is just irresponsible. Fact, point, period.
And they haven't experienced living alone and paying bills.
They just don't. One is a lack. Either they're ignorant, or two is just a lack of understanding. It's a wayward thing to say that your parents shouldn't use the providing the basic as that to lord over you. First of all, who born you?
Who are you?
Who born you?
You are moving mad.
Who born you?
Who's your dad?
No, show me your father.
Who's your dad?
Do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely 100.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're talking about somebody, right, that has to take on the welfare of another human being.
Not just one. Right? Sometimes 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm just talking just in case of just one child, right? You have to take on that full responsibility of another human being, right? Until you feel like they're adequate enough to make their own decision. And majority of the time, that doesn't really happen until they're like 25, right?
And some of you don't even move.
Yeah, the law can say 18, but the reality of it is that majority
still
of the time
caring for you.
Doesn't happen until 25. And not only that, even if you get to a stage where you're 40 or you feel like you're fully matured, in their cerebral, they're just programmed to think and to care and shelter for you.
That's still my child.
That's a shift that you will never understand until you have your own.
So if you go around telling people like, oh, my parents never said I love you to each other or to me for them to express their love, listen, I think you're getting a point wrong. Our producer just walked in. Ade, did you ever hear your parents say to each other like, love you, I'm out? How many times in your 20...
The question is, were they affectionate?
Were they affectionate to you like, I love you? In your 29 years of life, how many times?
Why are you exposing his age now?
This guy's a grown man.
He's a grown man.
How many times? No, seriously.
After my dad's beating me, told me.
There you go. Nigerians will say what? You beat a kid with the right hand, you draw him in with the left.
For those of you that didn't hear what he said, he said the only time he ever felt affection was after he received the rod. And the rod could have been the belt. Could have been slippers. Could have been koboko.
Remote control.
Could have been any physical object, anatomical object that was around.
Look,
got it.
He's doing well for himself in life because they have reset him so many times.
So factory setting.
Their factory setting has come so many times that listen, it's not like you now damage, they now refer you to one psychologist. They have factory set you every time you mess up.
Yeah.
Anytime you go out of tune, they auto-tune you back.
And they also tell you...
manual tune.
and to lubricate it all, then I say, I love you.
Yeah. See, listen.
Before...
From my experience from where I grew up here in Nigeria, especially in my area, parents only discipline kids they care about. If they don't care about you, I've seen a few fathers go, just...
Leave them.
There's one boy called Yaya. Yeah? Yaya, in front of our house. Yaya were not the most well-to-do people. Yaya's dad used to come and beat Yaya every night if Yaya mess up. And Yaya used to mess up. Yeah? Proper. It got to a stage, Yaya's dad stopped beating him. Because he didn't care anymore. So, if your parents are not giving you quick ones, you know when a father just goes, what will I do with you? Just go. Listen, I never wanted that to happen with my father. Ever. Or my mother. Like, do you know what? I'm done with you. Just do whatever you like. Listen, when a parent says that, just know...
It's a wrap.
Not even the love. It's not there.
Yeah, man. And but I do also have to say, as now coming into, once you have your child... I mean, you're going to be...
I'm not denying it.
You're going to be a second generation.
I want a girl.
Right? Okay, cool. Because you are a sharpshooter.
All picking is good picking. I'm just letting
but what I'm trying to say is that doesn't mean that we then carry that on as a trait.
No.
Was it a good trait for them? The answer to that is I don't know.
I think they did the best they could.
Exactly. And I felt like that's all you can do.
And you can't deny that as human beings, they will be frustrated at times.
Absolutely. I feel like that's all you can do. So as a parent, like they said, there is no book to being a parent.
No, actually, there is no manual. Nobody can write your book.
Exactly. So I feel as long as your parents, you know that your parents tried your best, right? As long as you can understand that, no level of affection that you can receive will ever match the need for your parents to always want to do more for you.
True.
Right, it doesn't matter. No, I love you, no presents, no birthday celebration, no whatever, bar mitzvahs or whatever will ever meet the need to your parents always wanting that natural desire to want to do the best for your child.
Just seeing you alive and making sure you're well.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. Rather than you going on social media and complaining, my parents didn't say I love you. Now, your generation is different. They've experienced a different upbringing. You've experienced a different one. So the mistakes that father made back then by having 2-3 wives, they've said, no, we're not going to do that.
You're not saying that as a mistake.
No, hold on. Not a mistake. Okay. It becomes a mistake because they couldn't care for all the kids. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know.
No. They probably couldn't, especially, if they weren't the wealthiest then or the well-to-do.
My granddad was
he was fine. So he was a chief. He was fine. Imagine the ones that weren't chiefs, but they were just not cutting their coat according to their size. Now our parents have looked at the parents and gone, okay, we're going to limit this to 1 wife, 3 children.
No, that's not what they've done.
Or society has said you can't have more than one.
And also religion
and they've obeyed.
Has played a role.
And they've obeyed. Now, it is out, but they probably have like, okay, this is how I can show love because this is how my dad showed me love. Now we live in an age where social media, technology, everything is like, oh, this is how you're meant to show love. If you don't show this psychological effect on a kid.
Yeah. Parents' goals.
You then change.
By your child.
I'm going to tell you one thing. No matter how much you tell your kid I love you or do the right thing, when your kid grows up as well, be like, my dad was so great, my mom was so great, they loved me, they did it. But there's always a but. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's always a but, and that but is what they try to fix so they don't do to their kids. So every generation improves. So stop going on social media and condemning your parents. They did the best they could. I'm not talking about absolutely useless parents, so there are differences. I'm talking about parents who are actually trying.
That in their life. Or wanting to be in your life. That's another thing I want to talk about. Yeah. Right? Obviously, we're limited time. Right. How do I say this without exposing? Parents that are no longer that went in your life in your upbringing, but later on want to be in your life. I think it's very, very important as human beings or somebody that eventually grow up, right? That we make every effort to reconcile. I say this in a lot of. I'll use myself as an example.
So,
I think
sorry to cut you. If I can understand what you're saying, it's like if they went in your life and they're trying to come into your life, you should try your best to reconcile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right? I'm saying that as I use
I think that's huge for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I would use myself more as an example. So I never knew my dad until I was 10, right? I had no, the only contact I ever had with my dad was videos, phone calls now and then, due to different circumstances. One, him trying to provide a better life. So there wasn't that relationship, right? The only male figures I had in my life growing up were my two elder brothers and my my dad's cousin who we lived with. Right? Those are only me. Everyone else was female. So when I eventually met my dad, there was this preconceived notion of he didn't really care much about me. Right? That was the number one thing. Was out of everybody, he never spent time with me growing up. He spent time with my two older brothers. Then he left. They went to boarding school. Grew up, came, had my sister. Boom, this, that. But for me, nobody was there. So I always had that preconceived notion that, this man just doesn't care about me, right? And there were certain behaviors that I was looking for to have an affirmation from my dad, right? One of the main things was he interested in things that I did, right? So even though I just made a joke about him sending me to school, that was one way of me thinking of to say, okay, like, can I count on my dad to come pick me up if I ask him to pick him up? Those are the things I used to think about. And it took me a while to actually grow out of that. And I mean, it grew out of that because, my dad is probably more emotionally inclined than my mom. My mom's not really emotional like that. You rarely ever see her show any form of emotional attachment. My dad is super emotional, right? Super emotional. He wears his emotion on his sleeve. I've seen my dad cry. I've never seen my mom cry. That's the level of emotion my dad is, right? So my dad always tries to have a relationship. So there was the one time we had a conversation. I think we had a conversation in his van back then when he had the cleaning company, and we were talking. And I asked him, and I asked him in terms of what was the transition? Why did he do all the stuff that he did? And why do I feel? And I said to him, why I don't feel like you're making enough effort to want to get to know us as your children. And he said to me, that's not true. Like, he's making all of the effort that he thinks he can, but for some reason it's not matching up because there's a misplace of understanding. Now, coming back to what I said about reconciliation, right? Our relationship never actually ever took place. I never really had a relationship with my dad until university.
Wow.
Right. So I would.
So 9 years.
Yeah. So I would say probably second year was when I started to actually converse with my dad. It was our relationship was, you tell me what to do, I do it, I disobey, I do what I want to do. That was our relationship. We'll deal with the consequences later. Right? So I never really had that until I started to figure out who I am, myself, and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of parents that had left their children, right, and then tried to come back in their life, right, they don't know what the hell is going on.
It's pretty much as hard as for them as it is for you.
For you, right? They ain't got a clue, an ounce of what to do, right? Because they've missed the stage of nurturing. They've missed the stage of provision.
Sorry to cut you. Even parents who are there from the start sometimes miss it. So how much more?
Exactly.
Someone
right? Who knows? So I feel like the point of reconciliation is super, super important, especially more so for fathers than it is mothers, right? Not that mothers don't live.
We all know for the emotional.
Yeah, there's that mother instinct that comes into play. But fathers don't have that, right? They don't have a maternal,
not lucky enough to have
maternal instinct, right? So everything that they've take our face value, judgment, and experience. So if you don't have that reconciliation with somebody that's trying to come back in your life, it's one of the hardest things to do. Right? Yeah. Because you have to force yourself to be emotionally vulnerable, right? You have to force yourself to deny your trust instinct, right? You have to force yourself to be abused, right? And I say abuse in the sense of if things goes pear-shaped, you're going to feel abused. That's just the truth. You're going to feel abused. You're going to feel wasted. You're going to feel insignificant. You're going to feel all sort of emotional depression that you had before that you thought you dealt with. Now it comes back. Okay? So as somebody that's experienced that, somebody that maybe not to the extent of maybe somebody that's never that whatever. Even I still had my dad in my life at some point, like trying to fix things and whatever. Right? We never had a relationship until a period of time. Right? My dad would tell you he probably thought he had a relationship.
Yeah, that's what happens
exactly.
all the time.
But like, until
when you ask about how's your kid, like,
exactly
it's good.
Until we until we're reconciled. Until we reconciled with one another and forgave one another, right? Right. So you asked me, what did I have to forgive? What did my dad have to forgive me for?
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, I had loads to forgive my dad, but what did he have to forgive me for? Right. One, he had to forgive the understanding of not being. I wasn't open. I wasn't somebody that was approachable. I wasn't somebody that. And do I need to be that person? Absolutely. Because reconciliation is a two-way thing. It's never ever going to be 70-20. It's never ever going to be 70-30. Right? It's never always going to be a one-way street. It has to be 50-50. 100%. The only way it will ever work, it has to be 50-50. So you then have to say to yourself, the most difficult part of that is why do you feel the need to? He's the one, he birthed you and he left. So he should do all the work. Yeah. Right? But if you want to have a genuine relationship.
So how about people who just go, who their father literally, I don't know what we're talking about. This happens in both in every community. Yeah. Just picked up their bags and just left.
Yeah, but that's not what I said.
No, I'm saying, how about them? How did they deal with it?
That's different because in some cases, right, that child longs to have a parent longs to have an understanding at least of what happened, of why that father, I say father because that's the stats, right? Majority of the time it is fathers. Yeah. Just decide to leave and not want to have a relationship
with the kid.
They
come back and decide.
But that's the truth is the matter is that at some point, like being a man is difficult. Yeah. Being a man is absolutely. Then you're gonna tell me being a woman is even worse. Yeah. Okay, cool, whatever. But it's super, super, super hard. So that mental baggage that they have to carry, sometimes most men aren't mature enough to accept that.
I know I'm not probably fit to talk about this, and people would always say, if you know you're thinking you're not fit to talk about it, don't talk about it. But I'm going to say from like a generic point of view of, you can probably help me. I don't think there's any other better person who's sitting next to me to help me understand that. It's like people who their fathers, like you said, stats-wise, walk out on them, and the man comes back later and tries to have a relationship, and you're like, nah, F that man, he didn't try to know me. There's a reason why he left. I've always thought there was always a reason. Number one, it might not be the reason that suits you to hear. It might be a reason like he just goes, hey, I had to walk out because I couldn't take care of you. I'd be like, oh, but you didn't try. No, he knew.
That's
some of these men, apart from the infidelity, even with infidelity, some of these men knew they walked out because they've done the wrong thing. Yeah. And that's the only way they could deal with it at that time. So if they decide to go, do you know what? And it's a hard topic to speak on. It's a very difficult topic.
And I don't want to go into, because a lot of my friends that I know have this issue, right? Most of females, to be fair. They have daddy issue, all right? Daddy issue in terms of, daddy wasn't around, right? Daddy slept with mom.
Wasn't around.
Yeah. And bounced, right? So this is a very tough topic, but I know that I have a lot of conversation with them regarding their parents. Yeah. And in one of the other cases, this one girl in particular, like her dad has always tried to make contact, but she's never liked the way in which he made contact. And one time I sat down with her and I was like, does it really matter?
Because contact is contact.
I was like, does it really, really matter? You have here somebody that wants to have a relationship with you. you're complaining that in the business in which he handled things. And I said to you, this is somebody that doesn't know his right from his wrong. But all he knows is that he just wants to have a relationship, right? Are you not able to look beyond that and give a benefit of the doubt for 3 months, 6 months, right? Have start a relationship and then iron out your do's and don'ts after. Right? And I feel like, and I say this because eventually I'm going to be a dad, and eventually I'm going to be a parent.
And you're going to make mistakes.
And that's my number one thing. That's my number one thing is not being, that's my number one fear as a parent, is not being there for a child, right? And the child resenting you and not being able to, it's fine if you resent somebody.
Yeah.
But if you can converse with that person or why you resent them, right, it's a lot different than just resenting somebody.
I think, God forbid, touch wood, if I ever walked on my kid and I tried to have a relationship back and they looked me dead in the eye and they said, F you, F you, F you 100 times, I'll take you on the chin, personally.
Exactly. And
I will take you on the chin.
That's another thing to parents, right, is to the dad, whoever's trying to come back. If you wholeheartedly, genuinely want to reconcile, right, you have to be ready, right, to take as many L's as possible to get it done.
It's part of putting in the work.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let us know what you think. It's a very, we spoke about growing up in Nigeria, and a lot of things, but finishing it on that note, it's a very heavy topic.